What is going on, everybody? It is a beautiful day here in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm actually supposed to be on an airplane to Philadelphia on my way to a business meeting. However, after about 45 minutes on an airplane this morning at 5:30 a.m., they decided that it was not safe to try to take off with only one engine working. So, long story short, plane got canceled. It was too late to get me on another flight, so here I am, stuck in the city. The snow is melting. My car is dirty as F. And I guess since the sun's shining, we might as well make the video that I anticipated making today anyway. While I have you here, take a second to hit that subscribe button and click the little bell as well. Make sure you get updates and notifications to when I upload some videos going forward. I try to post 2 to 3 a day. I actually started doing something a little bit new, doing a 1-minute Mondays where I talk about a specific topic for just 1 minute. Hopefully we touch on some interesting topics as we go along, but check out my most recent one if you get a second. And again, please hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it very much. Let's go ahead and get right after it. 2 things that I wanted to talk about today. In more recent video, click that card that's coming across the top above. I installed the drop-in filters. I still don't remember the name brand, but I'll put a link in the description below. And also wanted to chat just about the different drive modes in these cars and if they're even worth a darn. We got some winter weather here in Greenville over the weekend, about 4 inches of snow. And I did a little driving just to see how the Q50 would handle being rear-wheel drive, and also what the snow mode would do for you in slippery, inclement weather conditions. So first things first, let's talk about those drop-in filters. Now, if you look at that video that I did recently during the installation and a quick review, after 4 or 5 miles of driving or so, or 10 I suppose I put on over the weekend, I didn't honestly notice a whole lot. Like I mentioned, the throttle seemed a bit snappier, and the exhaust note seemed a little more consistent through the power band, through the RPM range, I should say. But I'm not sure if that's just wishful thinking or if it's because the filters that were in there were quite dirty. So putting some fresh ones in there opened up the breathing of the old Q50 a little bit, obviously improving performance and therefore improving sound as well. But I will say, when I fired up the car yesterday morning on our way to run some errands, my wife and daughter both made comments. My daughter said as she got in the car, "Your car sounds louder than normal." And my wife said, "Yes, it does sound different." Now, I take my daughter to school regularly, so she's used to hearing it cold starts in the morning. So even to her ears, the car sounding louder or a bit different was kind of interesting. And my wife, of course, gives me that, "I thought we were done with the loud car thing." Obviously, we're never done with the loud cars. I mean, come on. But it brought a tear to my eye, honestly. Them both noticing it. My wife was like, "What did you do?" She thought that I changed out some parts that would make the car louder. I told her I didn't do anything, just changed the filter. So, whether it's true or not that it made any difference in the sound, I'm not sure. But why don't you take a look at some of these clips here and see what you think. Maybe you'll be able to tell a difference. So the car's sounding good. no complaints here. I'm very excited to continue doing work on the exhaust system and get this thing really dialed in. But for now, I'm pretty pleased. With that being said, let's talk a bit about the winter driving in these drive mode, these different drive modes that we have to choose from here in the Q50. So my interest in this topic came up during a conversation on one of the Facebook groups. Somebody asked the question, you know, what do the drive modes do? And somebody responded with, well, this in snow mode, for example, it prevents you from mashing the gas pedal and spinning the tires. And I thought to myself, and of course made a comment, you know, do we really need a drive mode button or a selector to prevent us from mashing the gas pedal in slippery conditions? Of course, I got some flack back from the person saying, well, if you don't like the drive modes, don't use them, or if you don't like it, don't drive the car, blah blah. You obviously missed the point that it was a joke, but more importantly than that, the point is, honestly, do we really need drive mode selectors to help us drive these vehicles appropriately and in specific types of conditions? I mean, the answer is obviously no. If it's slippery, I don't mash the gas pedal. If I want to save on fuel or get better gas mileage, I don't spin the tires around every corner. I don't do 0 to 60 pulls after every stoplight. You just drive responsibly. There's no need to really talk about standard mode. It is what it is. And you know, these Q50s, we're not driving supercars. Now I understand the drive mode selector. You know, if you're in a high performance vehicle with high horsepower, really stiff suspension, you know, things of that nature, you're racing the car around a track. But to be honest, you know where it would be nice to, you know, if you're going on a long trip or whatever the case may be, you want to soften the suspension a bit, or tone down the exhaust with valves, or whatever the case may be in any specific kind of high performance supercar. But these Q50s, I mean, really, is there a need for it? Just put it in sport mode. Maybe have the traction control button, whatever. But honestly, let's be real. So with that being said, I wanted to test out the modes nonetheless, especially since we were having some winter weather conditions. So take a look at these clips just to get an idea of what we were dealing with over the weekend, and then I'll talk more about my experience. Spinning a little. So you can see we had a little bit of snow, nothing major, 4 inches or so, but there was a lot of sleet and kind of freezing rain that came underneath the snow, so it was relatively sloppy and slippery. But I was relatively surprised by how well the Q50 performed being rear-wheel drive in stock form with the run flat tires. As I've said before, my expectations of these run flat tires are basically 0. However, I did find it relatively easy to control the vehicle in those conditions. Now, I will say that I drove a majority of the weekend in sport mode with traction control all the way off. So not only did I hit the traction control button, I pushed the little white button down by the brake pedal as well, and took as much control away from the car as possible. So like I said, I did find it easy to, twitch the steering wheel just a bit and tap the gas pedal and bring the rear end around a little, but I also found it equally as simple to tap the gas pedal again and do a small correction and bring the rear end back under control. So again, relatively surprised at how well the car performed and how well the tires did in the snowy conditions. I can only imagine how well it would do if I had some decent tires on this car. So, with that being said, knowing that I had no traction control assistance and I was in sport mode, it's just miraculous that I did not floor it going around corners. I approached stoplights and stop signs a little more slowly, and I did not accelerate excessively. And believe it or not, I stayed in control of the car without having to select a specific drive mode. So in theory, it would work if you have zero self-control, or you really feel like you need some assistance from your vehicle in slippery conditions. The snow mode would do just that. Again, keeps the RPM low, prevents you from spinning the wheels and getting out of control. So again, in theory, it sounds like a good idea. Is it necessary if you know how to drive? No, obviously not. So there it is. Long story short, missed a flight today. Thought I'd make a video. Drop-in filters after just a few days. You know, no complaints so far. Apparently people are noticing a little bit different tone to the exhaust, which I don't have any bad feelings about. I'll take it. I will continue to monitor performance and fuel consumption just to see if it's giving us any better fuel mileage, especially now that we have some clean filters in the car. We should expect some better gas mileage. And as far as mode selector goes, I mean, use it if you want, but everyone knows that if you want to get better gas mileage, you don't race the car around. If you don't want to slip and slide in the snow, take it easy on the gas pedal. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. So hopefully this video was of interest to you. Hopefully it didn't go too long. Again, if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time in the next video. Thanks again. See you later.